The American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers' mission is to promote professionalism and excellence in the practice of family law. Every Academy attorney who handles custody cases aspires to protect and safely guard the best interest of each child. This video gives important insight into the effects of divorce and custody litigation on a child. Listen carefully to the way actual children of separated parents answer questions about their personal situations and their parents' separation.
I just came home one day and my dad was all packed and I got the talk.
I came home from the mall and my parents said, "Come, we need to talk to you," and then they told us.
Well, I came back from school one day. My mom was crying. She said my dad wasn't going to come back.
I always kind of knew that they were going to get divorced. I had an older sister, and she told me that they were probably going to split. So it just happened. And I'm actually happy about it, because now I don't have to deal with them fighting.
I didn't think that they could ever really do that. I mean, it was just sort of, they were fighting all the time, and when it was over, I was kind of glad. Couldn't hear it.
I was trying to keep it positive. They're not getting a divorce. They're not going to be apart forever. And my brother was like, no, they are getting a divorce, and he ended up being right. I was just a little kid at the time. I didn't really understand it that much. And I remember later that night, I broke down crying.
I felt really alone because it was just my mom, my brother, and I. The night it happened, actually, my dad called me up and he said, "Alan, you're the man of the house now." I just sort of felt that responsibility.
How do your parents get along with each other?
Better now, definitely. They used to not talk at all, and we would have to, be the messenger between them. It was weird, I guess.
Can you tell him this? Can you tell him that? And I'm like, just calm yourself.
It's their problem. They shouldn't be sharing it with us. If they have, disagreements and stuff, they should just talk it out with themselves.
When I lived with my dad still, him and my stepmom always talked about my mom, and it got really irritating. And one night, we were all sitting at dinner, and my brother had enough, and he got up and said, "I'm done with you guys."
I remember crying after all the times they'd be like, "Your mom did this, your dad did that," and I just didn't want to listen to it, so I ran to my room.
It hasn't really changed that much. They still dislike each other, they still argue, and they don't really care what happens to the other person.
It's like somebody's pulling you both ways. It's like your mom says something and you don't agree with that. Then your dad does something and you agree with it, but then you also agree with your mom, so you don't know what to do, so it's like push, pull, push, pull.
It's kind of like the parents sort of made armies. It's like, oh, it's your mom's side versus your dad's side, and and they would just sort of tell war stories about what the other person did. Actually, I once had a soccer game that my dad was at, and our stepdad was there too, and it was just a couple days after my mom had remarried, and I tried to introduce my stepdad, Ted, to my real dad, Rob, and I was like, "Hey, Ted, this is my dad, Rob," and my dad stuck out his hand, and Ted just sort of turned around and walked away. It seemed like he had heard things from my mom and then just automatically believed the worst of him.
Sometimes my mom or my dad talk to their friends about what my mom did or what my dad did, and they're just there laughing, and I'm standing there thinking, just stop. They teach in school not to talk behind other people's backs, but yet the adults are doing it, and it's not right.
Well, even with new people, my mom would sort of, again, tell the war stories about my dad, all the worst about him, like, oh, he's evil, he did all this terrible stuff, and she would act like I'm not even in the room with these people, and I've told her multiple times that I don't want to hear about this anymore, and she would just pretend that I wasn't there and would keep on telling these people the worst about my dad.
I definitely had to take the fall for my mom. She didn't have any siblings or family around, and her mom lived really far away. So when she got sad, she would come and talk to us. But we were 10 or 12 years old, and we didn't really need that. We didn't need to hear about how miserable she was. She went through this really bad depression, and She tried to commit suicide. And she told me that my dad made her do it. Now, why would you tell your 10-year-old daughter that her dad made you try to commit suicide? Why would you do that?
A couple months after it happened, the divorce, I was talking to my mom, and I told her that it seemed to me that whatever we say or do just gives her ammunition for this war that she's having with my dad. And the minute she gets it, she just starts shooting, and we're caught in the middle. And she doesn't hit my dad doesn't hit her or nothing like that. It's us. We're the ones getting hit here. And I feel like, am I supposed to just sit here and take it? Am I just going to let you do whatever you want? And no matter what, we're the ones getting shot.
It definitely kind of ruins your relationship with both of them. I feel kind of alone.
Which parent do you spend most of your time with, your mom or your dad?
My dad is 1 or 2 less days than my mom, but I have a better relationship with my mom, so I feel that that's better for me and for her.
My mom's moving to Texas, so it's gonna change things, but I get to go over there whenever I want, and both of my parents are mutually fine with it.
I can text my dad sometimes, but my mom really doesn't like me to. For the most part, if I'm texting him and she's not right there, I'd get grounded.
Even with just living with my mom, she still encourages us to see our dad, but I really don't want to. It's just that he's put so much drama into our lives that I really don't want to deal with it.
Are you treated consistently in both households?
My dad's house is definitely more relaxed, probably because he doesn't get to see me that often, so when I'm there, he wants to make sure I have a good time. My mom is the real parent. She makes me do my homework and gives me chores to do, but I understand that, so I don't resent her for it.
My dad kind of feels bad that we had to go through this, so he's more relaxed, so we don't have to do as many chores and stuff like that. But my mom's like, do this, do that.
I was never really used to having a father figure around. It had always just been me and my mom and my brother, so when I moved in with the step family, it was like I moved into a different world.
Step-parents try to get you to like them, but my stepmom, she's not like that. She's mean, manipulative, and she just tries to make us look bad in front of our dad.
When my mom got remarried, she sort of tried to refer to our stepdad as our real dad, and I thought that was just sort of absurd. I mean, we have our dad. We have a real dad. That's our stepdad. Don't try and force it on us that he's our dad. He's not our dad. And then, of course, when that all happened, my mom tried to blame my stepmom for everything. She would say, oh, she's the reason why they got divorced. She's the reason why we can't do anything fun. And she would blame it on literally everyone but herself. And my dad would sometimes do the same. It was insane.
Sometimes my mom acts a little nicer to my dad. And, like, if we talk about something in counseling for, like, 3 or 4 weeks, she'll listen. But then it'll go away and she'll say, oh, I'll retouch on it in 4 months. She tries, but then sometimes they don't. It's like they put all the blame on other people.
Yeah. And my dad said when they first got divorced that we should really live with our mom. I mean, I was 9, he was 7. We were young, and at the time, it's really important for us to have our mom right there. And he said to me, it's not like I don't love you or anything like that. It's just you need your mom, and your mom needs you.
Since the divorce, what other changes have taken place, whether it's through school, friends, or moving?
When they got divorced, my mom found a house, and we'd already moved a lot of our stuff in. But my dad stayed in the house we all lived in before. But then, like, a couple weeks after, he was like, oh, I bought an apartment. And I was like, but that was our home. That's where we've been since we were born, and I've never moved in my entire life. It was really hard.
Our mom kept the house, and our dad moved into an apartment, and sometime later, He finally got a house, and it was sort of weird moving in, but it was like new house, new rules. It was a bit more strict. We had to do chores, and homework was more important, stuff like that.
When I was younger, I was still in preschool when my parents divorced. And I ended up going to 2 different schools, one with my dad and one with my mom. And it was so weird having those transitions.
For me, I definitely just got used to change. I got used to moving, to going to a different school, to dealing with my parents' different schedules. I accepted that life was never going to be, with me and my 2 parents in our one home all of our lives, It was always, there was always going to be change.
Do you think your parents listen to you?
I think they're starting to listen now. I used to talk to someone outside of the family, a therapist or even my sister maybe, about what I was going through, but I never talked to them. I don't really think they knew what was going on until someone outside of the situation came to them and said, "Look, you need to change this. Your child's unhappy."
My mom listens a little bit more than my dad, but if I do talk to my dad, I'll be like, "Dad, I'm talking." He'll be like, yeah, I'm listening, but sometimes he's not.
I saw my dad cry for the first time when I was telling him about how I feel about life and growing up. It was really emotional. My mom, had a breakdown. And I guess they're just really caught up in what they're going through and their emotions. They don't see that we're going through anything. So you need to tell them and really tell them so that they can understand, because they don't know how to ask.
They have their problems too, and I think you need to understand that. They are your parents, though, and they are going to love you. You just need to say, I need to talk about this.
Yeah, it's like I try to talk to my mom, and I'm a guy, so I talk to guys a bit easier. It's sort of like I try to tell her what's wrong, and she just listens and says, okay, that's fine. And she tries to fix it for like a week or 2, and then it's just sort of, she just slips back into old habits, and didn't we just talk about this?
Okay, they're saying this once, I guess I'll try to fix it. But I think the more times you talk to them, the more that it really gets through. I didn't want to tell my parents at first when something was going on because I didn't want to add my own emotions into it. I knew they were already going through a lot, and I didn't want to be a burden. But I'm not a burden, and talking really does help.
What advice would you give for other parents, other kids, and the judge to help families going through this process?
To parents, I would tell them to listen to the kids. I mean, they're not the only ones fighting. And to the judges, please really listen to the kids. I understand that the parents are fighting and stuff, but they should stop talking and let the kids speak.
If you look around, you think, oh, I'm the only kid with divorced parents. But if you really look at all of us, at the thousands of millions of kids, you realize you're not alone. And there's lots of other people dealing with the exact same thing you're dealing with. So you need to stay strong.
I think you can't lose the connection between your family, your siblings, or your parents. Family is really important, and it's really important to communicate. Without them, you're alone.
For kids, you really have to talk about it with someone, because if you just hold it in, one day it's going to pour out, and you really do need to talk to someone about it.
And if you don't have friends, get friends.
They're really helpful.
It helps a lot.
If there are people out there that want to talk to you, like your friends or your family, you should go and talk to them.
Make sure it's a good friend, and make sure they know what you're going through, because I'm sure a lot of friends that people have probably don't even know our parents are divorced, and they need to listen.
What have you learned about yourself through this process?
That you need to grow up sometimes.
Yeah, and you need to stay strong. You can't just be pushed around.
You really need help.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do it all alone.
Yeah, it can't just be just you.
And not all of it's bad. some good does come out of it.
I kind of learned that you can go through more than you actually think.
Yeah, you learn how to be more independent, and you don't have to depend on your parents for everything.
Yeah, like you're the strongest person you know.
It's better to not have everything handed to you.
Yeah, it helps with confidence a lot.
And sometimes it gives me the drive to not be like my parents. I mean, I do want to be like them, you know, family, job, stuff like that, but I don't want to get divorced.
When it's all said and done, you realize it's for the best.
The American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers thanks the children and the actors who retold their stories that demonstrate the effects of divorce on young people. We urge parents to guard against hurting their children by following a few simple guidelines. Reassure your children they are loved and it is not their fault. Encourage your children to see your former spouse frequently. Your child's interest, not yours, is paramount. Act accordingly. If you are the non-custodial parent, pay your child support. Do not uproot your children.
The Academy has a number of publications available to families and lawyers. All publications, including a copy of this video, are available by going to the Academy website at aaml.org.